What's up everyone, it's your Thinking Cap Benji, and FPL is back. The game's out for the 25-26 season, and in this one I'll be running you through my very first draft ahead of game week 1. We'll also be touching on the captaincy landscape in the first few game weeks. Let's get into it. Okay, so before we get into it, just a reminder that this team is subject to change. There's going to be new players, new factors, and new information that's going to come to the surface as we approach Game Week 1. So make sure you're subscribed to catch all of the updates in regards to my team. And let's begin with the keepers. And I have gone for actually a keeper rotation, even though I'm actually not a massive fan of rotating goalies. Starting in net for me right now is Darlow from Leeds. I've talked to a few Leeds supporters today and on socials and stuff, and they've confirmed with me that Darlow is actually the #1 over Meslier. So obviously, look, if Leeds sign a goalkeeper, then I'll probably be taking him out of my team. But until then, I like this option at 4 million. He's got a good opening fixture, and he rotates well with my other goalie who's on my bench, and that's Bournemouth keeper Petrovic. He's just signed for them recently. Yeah, look, Bournemouth, we're expecting them to regress defensively because they've lost Dean Huijsen, Milos Kerkez. They're probably going to lose Zabani, but I do expect them to reinvest that money, bring in a few better defenders. I also think Senesi is still a very, very good center back. I still think they can piece together quite a good defense and keep a few clean sheets. Petro is a good shot stopper. He's great at claiming crosses, and I'm just not really sure why Chelsea actually let him go and didn't want to go with him as the first choice option, because I really do think he's a great goalie. But anyways, look, that's beside the point. These two rotate very, very well at a combined price of just 9.5 million. Let's move into the back line, into my defense. And look, I haven't selected any Arsenal D in this draft just because their opening fixtures are actually just poor for defenders. I think they're pretty rubbish. They face Man U, Liverpool, Forest, City, and Newcastle in the first 6, and that's why I'm avoiding them at the moment and at the start of the season. Look, I don't love Liverpool's start either, but Virgil van Dijk has been buffed, seriously buffed, with the new defensive contribution system being added into the game. And until I see some more of the Liverpool fullbacks in preseason and see what the minutes are like, there's just no real guarantee with availability for the likes of Bradley, Frimpong, and Milos Kerkez. So I'm just going to go with the big man, the big captain. We know he's going to play. He's had a buff. He's always a threat from set pieces as well. So I'm going with Virgil van Dijk at the moment. And I've also got Nico Williams, who has come in at 5.0, which I think is a very good price for him considering Milenkovic is at 5.5. I think Forest defense will continue to be productive, and their opening run is actually quite nice. Brentford, Palace, West Ham. Arsenal in 4 isn't great, but then it's Burnley and Sunderland back to back, and that's a very, very good patch of fixtures, a very good starting and opening run, and I think they'll breeze past the Conference League, so I'm not too worried about congestion there. There's a lot of good defensive fixtures with Nottingham Forest in that opening run, and I prefer the attacking potential with Nico Williams over Sells, who is also 5.0. Wan-Bissaka is my third defender who's starting in this draft. Look, I understand West Ham are not the best defense. I don't really rate Graham Potter, but Wan-Bissaka showed last year that attacking-wise, he is improving. He's progressing as a player, obviously playing with Bowen on that right-hand side. And if you've been watching my content in the offseason, you'll know that West Ham fixtures rotate brilliantly with Aston Villa, which is why I've gone for Aaron Wan-Bissaka plus Ezri Konsa, who is benched in this setup. Both of them at 4.5 mil. Nice and cheap, good defenders. Fifth defender, Harry Maguire, Big H, Slabhead. Look, this isn't some bias pick, guys. Genuinely, it's not. I'm a big United fan. This is not a biased pick. Maguire scored a lot of goals this season. His XG is always great. And our set piece data, Man United set piece data, has improved over the last 12 months. And this is why I expect Maguire to do quite well at 4.5 with that price. We have 1 game a week. There's no congestion. He's a pick you can sit on long term. And the fact that we have Burnley at home and Sunderland at home, sandwiched in between a lot of tougher fixtures in our opening run, I think there is value there, and that's why I like Harry Maguire. I also expect him to be a little bit more nailed than the likes of Heaven, who will be competing with Lisandro Martinez, and Dorgu, who's competing with Diego Leon if he stays at the club, doesn't go out on loan, and Harry Amos. So yeah, that's why I like Maguire a lot. Let's move into the midfield, and funnily enough, all 4 are English. I've gone for Foden, Bukayo Saka, Cole Palmer, and Morgan Rogers. There is no Mo Salah in this draft. I'm a bigger Mo Salah fan than most Manchester United supporters, but He's come out at 14.5. He's the most expensive FPL midfielder of all time. And considering he has Arsenal in his opening run, he has Newcastle in his opening run, he has Chelsea away, he has Brentford away, he has Palace away, 4 games where he blanked last season in his best ever statistical season. So I'm not that hot on Mo Salah just because the price is very high and his opening run is not golden. His first promoted team fixture is in 4, and you'll understand why how I am actually taking on Mo Salah, because if we move into my front line, you'll see there Alexander Isak. I've gone for those 2 premium strikers, Isak and Ollie Watkins. The reason I've gone for Isak at the start is, yes, the first 2 look quite poor, Villa away and then Liverpool at home, but Liverpool is at St. James Park. You got to remember, Isak's probably best performance of the season was against Liverpool, and that's twice. Not only in the league, but also in the Carabao Cup final. He's scored away to Villa previously, then he has Leeds and Wolves, and Isak is a main captaincy option in 3, as we'll see when we move on to the captaincy matrix part. But anyways, this is kind of how I've built my squad. No Haaland, no Salah, just focusing on the sub-premiums who I expect to have quite a good season. I like Ollie Watkins' price. I think 9.0 is a little bit cheap considering Asensio's gone, Rashford's gone. Those 2, if you look at Emery's quotes, those are the 2 guys that Emery was saying are first choice penalty takers, first and second choice. Then it's Ollie Watkins, McGinn, and Tielemans. Tielemans already missed one. McGinn, he's not taking any, let's be real. So in my opinion, I think Ollie Watkins is lined up to take penalties for Aston Villa, considering their opening run is good. I think they're the only Big 6 team or top 6 team from last season to have Sunderland in their first 6 or 7 games. So, and he is a main option for captaincy in that week as well. And that's why I like Ollie Watkins at 9.0. And then I've got Dom Solanke. I think Spurs fixtures are good. I expect a little bit of new manager bounce there. So yeah, I've gone big up front. And then obviously let me touch on a few of these midfielders. Palmer, look, Chelsea fixtures are great. He started the season great last year. I'm quite hot on him. Bukayo Saka, look, I did say Arsenal fixtures are tough. They are tough to start, but he is their talisman. He performs in big games, a big game player, and they have Leeds in 2, which you'll see why that is so important for me with no Haaland, no Salah draft at the moment. And guys, I'm not saying I'm going against Haaland and Salah for the whole season. I'm just saying in this starting block, I can go against them for a little bit. That's kind of where my mind is, because the first promoted team game Mo Salah has is Burnley in 4, Haaland, Burnley in 6. So there is opportunity to go against them. In terms of all of these 7 attackers, I think Phil Foden's probably the weakest in my team right now in terms of the least likely to be in there come game week 1, just because I'm a bit concerned with his minutes. He's going to be competing with Omar Marmoush, Turkey, Echeverry for that number 10 spot, but we know what Phil Foden can do, and in a time where he really needs to step up his game, step up his output, and step up his performance, I do think he's the quality of player to do so, and that's why I've got him in at the moment. I think also Pep will start with him, give him a chance. If he doesn't perform, then he might come out of the team a little bit. So let's see how his minutes progress throughout the rest of preseason. But yeah, this is where my draft is at. Currently, the captaincy armband is on Dom Solanke because you have to look to go against Haaland against Wolves, and Salah against Bournemouth at home. And I don't think those fixtures are so amazing for those 2, but they will be the main options in game week 1. They'll be the high EO guys. And I'm still open to Erling Haaland and Mo Salah. Let's see how things progress. But at the moment, this is where my draft is. Let's move into the captaincy stuff. Okay, so in front of you is my captaincy matrix for the first 10 weeks with key premium talisman from the best attacks in the league. On the left-hand side, each game week, you'll see 3 players with stars next to their name. Those stars represent a rough top 3 ranking that I made to show you who covers which weeks for captaincy. And by the way, guys, it's not anything locked. I'm not saying these guys are the best captains. It's just a rough sketch to see who covers which game weeks effectively. And if we look at starting game week 1, right, you got the 3 stars, Salah, Haaland, Solanke, like we touched on, move into 3. This is where Erling Haaland has Tottenham. But remember, guys, this is not the Tottenham of last season. This is not Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham. This is Thomas Frank's Tottenham. He likes to play a back 5, likes to sit in a bit of a deeper block, and it's not going to be the same fixture that Haaland has been able to profit from. And even last season, City lost 4-0 to Tottenham under Ange Postecoglou, so I don't think it's all that nailed on. Salah has Newcastle away. I understand he smashed Newcastle away last season, but that was where he was at the peak of his powers. his historical record against Newcastle at St. James is actually not that good long term if you're looking over a lot of games, which is why, you know, you've got Saka there. I think he's the standout. Leeds at home, promoted team at home. You've got Palmer away to West Ham. You got Watkins against Brentford, his former club. He has a great record. So basically, I'm looking at this, and this is why I haven't got Salah, Haaland in my draft at the moment, because I believe there's another way that you can cover it. Saka covers you in 2. You move to 3 now. Isak has that dark blue, great fixture. Leeds again in 3. And the thing is, I do think Leeds are going to be quite targetable. Talking to a lot of Leeds fans, they say Daniel Farke, he's a guy who he likes attacking football. He likes to push a lot of men forward. So I do think they could be one of the most targetable teams, if not the most targetable team at the start of the season. Let's see how they adapt to the new league and the pace of the league. But I think, look, go against Salah, Haaland. You need the options for captaincy. Saka in 2, you've got Isak in 3 and 4. You've also got Palmer in 4 as well. And then coming to 5, the standout option is Ollie Watkins, right? So if you look at it, how many weeks in the first 5 are Salah and Haaland the clear standout? I'd argue 1. Maybe 2 if you think Salah is just arguably the best. Obviously, his open day record is crazy. Just 1 for me. Burnley away in 4, Salah looks to be the standout, right? And if you phrase it like that, 3 and 4 is between an international break. Salah, he can't keep dodging Egyptian camps with this being an AFCON season as well. So I think there's definitely merit to go against Mo Salah. And this is why I have Saka, Palmer, Isak, Watkins, Solanke. And I've also got a bit of City coverage with Phil Foden, because having those players means that I'm covered for captaincy in the long term. Now, obviously, I would probably look to bring in Erling Haaland in 6 for Burnley at home. And maybe I would move off in Alexander Isak for Arsenal Forest. So yeah, there's a lot of possibilities, a lot of things that I could do there. But the main thing is, I don't think Salah and Haaland are nailed on captaincy options in the first 5, which is why I think there's opportunity to take them on with some of the sub premiums, guys. If you've enjoyed this one, then hit that like button. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Peace.